This week's episode is brought to you by NYXI and their Hyperion Pro Joy-Cons for Nintendo Switch. The Hyperion Pro is the best Joy-Con replacement we've tested to date. They look fantastic, they feel better than stock Joy-Cons, and the Hall effect sticks ensure longevity of them will outlast Nintendo's offering, as well as other third-party brands that still suffer with the dreaded drift issues. The super comfortable and ergonomic grip allow for easy long-time gaming. The programmable RGB lights mean you can customize the controller to your particular taste, and the gamer's reflex macro buttons are available to give you an edge. Plus, the GameCube-inspired purple option and the green Legend of Zelda-inspired variant really make the controller stand out. All this, and using promo code PvP, you can get 10% off. Head over to NYXIGame.com or use the link in the description. Hello, welcome to Podcast vs. Play, episode 302. I'm one of your hosts, Callan, as always. I'm joined by a man who told me a joke. He said a rapist, a stripper, and a Nazi walk into a bar. But I've messed it up. I meant the White House. Dirty bloody Dan.
Hello,
stranger. It's been a week or so.
Yes, as these typically do seem to be.
No, we're behind, aren't we?
Are we?
Yeah, because what happened? Something happened. So we were delayed.
Oh, was that when my washing machine died?
Yeah.
It did die. Due to your excellent advice, Callum, I cleared all the presumably cat hair out of the filter, and it worked fine.
But that put us off, and then because of something that happened yesterday, we saved it for today, the podcast.
Yes.
But we'll get into that after. How you been?
Very well, thank you. Again, I did feel quite good sorting the old washing machine out. I'll tell you what, though, you know, you're a technical man, and you work in a technical kind of job, you know, dealing with machinery and parts and that kind of thing. Whilst I get the logic of it, the filter in the washing machine is at the very bottom, which means that if the drum is full or half full or about a quarter full, as mine happened to be, when you open the filter, that water will obviously drain because it can't get out the pipe, so that's the only escape that it's got. But it is about half an inch from the floor. So what the fuck are you supposed to put under there to catch the water in so you can drain it out? Answer me that, Callum.
Well, I have, purely from experience, is I have collapsible buckets that you can have at various heights. And you would so on ours, which doesn't work very well now because the new washing machine we've got, the front bit that you take off is a lot lower than the old one. Right. So I can still use a collapsible bucket, but it's like that thin. So it's like it's a case of doing it and then seal the valve, empty it out, and then do it. So I've instead just opted to just flood the floor with towels. It's way fucking easy. The problem for you is, though, you live in an apartment, so...
Yeah, I can't really subject the people below me to, I couldn't be arsed. So I had to get a bowl and, open it, seal it, empty. Open it, seal it, empty. And just do that. And then I was taking, chunks out of the actual, the drum itself, and I was like, fucking hell. And finally got all of it out, and then just clear the filter, and bang, it just worked straight away.
Another little sneaky trick you can do, but this will depend on the varying amounts of water you've got in it. Pull the washing machine out and then put it up on its back almost, so it
Unfortunately,
leans against it.
I know exactly where you're going with this, because again, if you were to sort of leverage it up or something like that, and I know that potentially that's what people are thinking when they tuned into this Bosch cast, or whatever the fuck we're doing now. But the way that the pipes are for the boiler. And the wall and the room that is in that sort of utility room, it is in there almost exactly right.
Yeah, you'd have to bring it out.
You'd have to pull it out of there completely. And again, if a wire popped out or something like that, bang, there's a flood. So I thought the safest method to do is slowly but surely take everything out of the drum, empty out the filter until the filter stops. If that doesn't work, then potentially I've got to drag it all forward and unplug it and all that kind of shit. So... that was a bit of a pain in the arse. But after that was sorted and the washing machine works again, at least I know that maybe just every month or two, I'll just open that filter, clear it out, bang, pop it back in, and it's
worthwhile.
It's good to go again. Yeah, but that's probably the highlight I'd say so far. If the old week, I bought some new trousers.
Have you washed them yet?
Yeah, luckily,
now your washing machine's working.
yeah. But no, I don't think a huge amount beyond that, mate. Yourself?
Nothing exciting at all, really. I found some new coffee I like.
Woo!
Yeah, I forgot what it's actually called now. Something beans, but they do like different
Coffee.
flavours. No, it's like cool beans or something like that. I honestly can't remember. But they do the various different flavours. And Zoe actually bought me a box. And it basically just comes with, I'm pretty sure they're still called sachets, but it's like the long tube style ones.
Like a
Do you know what I mean? No, like, I've actually got some Nescafe ones.
Yeah, definitely keep talking away from the microphone. It's a great idea.
Sorry, I've got. I thought I had some in my work bag, but I don't. But basically, more like a tube sachet. You still rip it open, and then it's just got coffee beans in it. Then you put it in your cup or whatnot. But they're basically like sample packs of all the flavors they do, and they did this really nice nutty one, the caramel one, and something else was the ones I really liked. So I bought some jars of them, and they're really, really good. But just totally irrelevant. A couple of days after your washing machine was on the fritz, and a video pop up, and it was some woman just saying like, my boyfriend's just installed our new washing machine, but I don't think he's done it right, and it's just like going off its fucking head, like. And I was sat with Zoe, and says he hasn't took the bolt, like, because when you get a new washing machine, at the back of it will have like, you've got these bolts on there you have to take off. If you don't, that's basically keeping the drum still for transport. So if you don't take them off, effectively it could explode.
Right.
And you could see it just going absolutely fucking ape shit under this fucking counter. And so there goes, mate, they haven't took the bolts off. And he's pulled it out.
Turning it off, they've just gone.
They filmed it.
Let's just film it and just watch it absolutely destroy the kitchen. Yeah.
I've tried to find the follow-up video because then it was like a jump cut, and the next one they like pulled. It's still going at this point as well. They still haven't turned it off, but they've pulled it out, and he's looking and he's got his torch and everything, and he's just like, I don't know, I can't figure like why, and I'm just there, just go take the fucking bolts. But I assume they're dead. Or
yeah, because it exploded. Yeah.
But typically, any time I've ever bought a washing machine, it's gone, do you want an installation service for like an extra like £8? And I go, yeah, I really can't be fucking asked. Although, the last one I did, I asked for my money. It was only £8, but I asked for my money back because I had to do it when I came home because he fucked the job up.
What?
So where the waste pipe and that comes in, it was all coiled. So when you tried to turn it on, you get an error code because there's no pressure going to it. And Zoe sent me a photo of it while I was at work, and I was like, "That's for pressure." So there's something wrong with the like pipe. Zoe's tried to pull it out, but she could only get it out so much. Sent me a photo, and it was literally like that's how your pipe should be. It was like that. It was like that's the fucking problem.
Right.
But because obviously it's a thick pipe, you can't just bend it back out because it's got a kink in it, so it's always going to go. And then it's going to hit that kink and go off every time. So I got some more another pipe on the way home, and then did it myself. But I rang them up and complained the fuck about it. I want a refund because I did it. I should be paid. It's like fucking idiots. But yeah, nothing majorly exciting. Logan's been really into Lego, so I've been buying him Lego sets. Got a new one that I haven't sent you a picture of yet because you didn't like the Despicable Me one that you did.
No.
It's quite big though. It's like that big. No,
it I don't like the look of it, and also I don't like what it's of either.
It wasn't as good as Rocket and Groot that he did.
No, that was
last
really
time.
Good.
They were really, really good. And you'll like this next one, but it's going to be a surprise. It's not Star Trek though, so don't get you.
Well, of course not.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah.
But it's a cool one. But anyway. We got some big fat juicy news to talk about because I've waited for a day and a bit to talk about this, Dan.
Yes.
Fantastic Four, First Steps. We got a little sneaky teaser trailer yesterday.
I've been on that, I'd say.
No, I don't think it's a full trailer.
No, a teaser would be like 10 seconds long.
It's only like a minute 38.
It's like 2 minutes or something, I think.
I'm sure it's a 1 minute 38. I'm
Either
sure
way, that's the length of like a first trailer. Absolutely. Like a teaser would be a couple of seconds of There'd be a 4, and then it'd be a flame going past, and then it'd be a rock, and then it'd be coming in 6 months or whatever.
In your face.
Yeah. But no, I'd say this is a proper trailer. Like, you're seeing things as they're probably going to look in the movie. You know,
we'll meet halfway and we'll go. This is the first trailer because
Yes.
it is 100% the first trailer. But this is going to be out this year, Dan, 2025,
July.
the year of 4.
Yeah, they could have done it in 2024 and just had the 4 in there as well.
Yeah.
But I suppose they were still getting rid of the Avengers and figuring out what the hell they're going to do now.
They got it for February 4th, so that kind of works. F4.
Yeah, that's true.
That's as close as they're going to get, I think. But we got to see a lot of cool little things, but we didn't get to see Robert Downey Jr.
No.
If he's in it.
If he's in it, and also, if he is, he would have done 3 days. And that's the stuff when he hasn't got the mask on. If he's even not got the mask on, he could just do voiceover work. Because they could just go, well, we just got a proper Doom with a Doom mask. And we put him in a VO booth for 3 hours. We got all of his lines and then sent him on his way with his $50 million or whatever for bringing him back from the dead.
I mean,
Robert
to be
Downey
fair,
Jr., but
you wouldn't need to, especially in this film, like, unless they're doing a similar backstory to the Fox Fantastic Four films where they all work together and everything else. But if he's just in it as a villain, then you don't need to see him as Downey Jr.
No.
It only makes
already
sense
established
for that.
They're not doing an origin film.
Yeah.
They can't be.
Well, I've got a feeling they're treating this similarly to, like, Tom Holland's Homecoming origin film, where he's already Spider-Man. They very lightly gloss over it with a couple of lines, and that's it. And
it's not an origin. It's not an origin story for the characters getting their super abilities. It's an origin story for you.
Yeah,
it's the introduction for you, the audience, to say this is who this person is. But they're already like. I do like as well the fact that they've gone down a far more sort of jolly route with it, where it's just sort of like everyone's like, "Yay, Fantastic Four! We love the Fantastic Four. Everyone loves the Fantastic Four," rather than just like. Boo, Sokovia Records, you're all fucking useless. You killed everyone in... Oh, God.
I mean, it is in like
terrible.
the 70s or something. So
I know, but that's the thing. Like, because clearly it's not in the... Whatever the prime timeline...
No, it's very clearly an alternate timeline.
For sure. But the outfits, Callum, are ridiculous. And I love them.
In a good way. Yeah.
I absolutely love them. They look exactly like if the cancelled... Fantastic Four that from like 1992 or whatever it was, 1990. Those are like comic accurate Fantastic Four outfits, but they look like they were made in the 90s on the cheap, which is what they were ultimately.
Do you think this is what
looks
they
like
have for a whole one though?
What?
Did you think like the ones we've seen in the trailer run on the promotional stuff? Do you think these are the suits they have for the whole film, or do you think they'll get more stylized ones later on?
Unless they do a time jump or a dimension jump or a whatever the fuck they're going to do to eventually get them over into the MCU. If they transfer over, then yes, there would probably be a remodernization in the same way that, you know, Captain America's, you know, you got his 40s outfit.
Yeah.
And then you go, well,
that's what I mean.
Play.
Yeah.
But then, you know, you upgrade him with the Winter Soldier outfit and you're like, fucking hell, that's a costume. That's sick.
Yeah.
Potentially they'd do that, but I kind of don't want them to. I want them to distance this from the sort of the grime of the MCU until they figure out what they're doing with that a little bit more.
Ben Grime.
Yeah. Close enough. I think, speaking of though, I think the Thing's look is great.
It's phenomenal.
It looks perfect in terms of not the CG of, the design of, like the model of the Thing that they've gone through with that ridiculous like bowl cut almost of his hair. Yeah. Well, at least his head. It's the original designs.
Yeah, like, it was saying, it looks like Jack Kirby's original design for the character. Only 2 things have annoyed me. None of them to do with the actual trailer or the movie, but
okay, good.
The internet. First one, he goes, "Why has he got a monobrow? Looks fucking stupid." It doesn't look stupid. Looks fucking perfect.
It looks real.
Why is he so short? It
looks correct.
Yeah, it looks comic accurate, and it doesn't look. I don't think it looks. No, I do. I need to watch how I word this. I think it doesn't look any worse than who's the guy from the Shield.
Chickless. Chickless.
Yes.
Michael Chiklis. Yeah.
I liked that suit for that film. It fit well, and obviously within budgets. And if the CGI was better, then they'd probably gone CGI as well. But it was fine. I liked the design of the one from Fan Four Stick because it fit that shitty universe. So it was a shit design for a shit universe. But they went more. I'd say that's closer to Korg, where it's just rocks.
But he was very morbid and he was a killer.
But they hulked him.
Whereas, but this one, he was a giant rock man that was just, a weapon of the army.
But he's only 6 foot though.
Yeah, but
in the comics, he's only 6.
He looks stocky, and he looks, like clearly there's some sort of like puffiness to like his Fantastic Four outfit thing. So he's not just like a spandex rock monster, or just they've got shirtless. They've put him in a ridiculously oversized shirt that looks like it's covering up his rockiness.
Yeah.
But they've just got him cooking with Herbie, and just sort of like he's just being a normal guy, and he's just being kind of like he's supposed to be a nice guy. He's a cool guy, and he's not sort of like a mopey. Oh god, the world's awful, and now I'm a monster, so I'm going to kill everybody kind of Fan Four Stick thing. And he's not just a big silly goofball like he was in like the Fox Fantastic Fours. But again, it's just sort of like, how's this guy a spaceship pilot? Like, really?
Yeah. I mean, I think that's the beauty of doing it in this time where they can give you that backstory without, like you said, without it being it's an origin for us rather than for them. But I think either by the end of this film or in somebody else's film, they're going to make the jump into the 616 universe, because they are mainly from them talking about the first time we went, you wasn't invisible, Ben wasn't a rock, Johnny couldn't set himself on fire. I mean, he could set himself on fire, I suppose. But, like...
In the same way that you can if you wanted to, yeah.
Yeah, like, we didn't have all of these powers the first time, so they're obviously going to go again.
I don't know, I thought they said... maybe I misheard that. I thought they said, when we went to space, you weren't invisible.
No, he said the first time.
Interesting. I didn't hear him say that. Okay, but that could just mean that they're just returning astronauts, though.
That's
like they've had a couple of missions, but
they may have gone 2 or 3 times already.
We've got to go to our secret moon base because fucking Galactus has shown up. Proper, actual Galactus has shown up. One that you do want to worry about.
Yeah.
So it would be reasonable, and then I would assume that there's no insane amounts of superheroes all milling around in New York or in the world or whatever. It's probably just them. Maybe a few people that are tied to them. Maybe they'll have their own little Black Panther. Maybe they will have a spider person that's zipping about. But, clearly they're the go-to team because, the whole world's like, yay, Fantastic Four, Baxter Building. Look at that. You've got this whole building with your 4 on it that's not been amalgamated by the Avengers Tower. They're their own thing. So if they go, this guy's going to turn up and he's going to obliterate our planet, and the 4 of us, we're kind of used to just dealing with like human level threats. Like we need like a Mysterio kind of thing. Just be like, these things torched our planet basically, and we had to try and find someone else that could help stop something like this, and we ended up going to, again, you just go to the TVA. There's your gateway from every conceivable universe at this point. It doesn't all have to be space stones and magic. The TVA is just like the perfect zip zap, and you're in a new universe. They literally did Deadpool with that same thing. We can just pop you wherever, to be honest.
Yeah.
So unless they are sort of like refugees, like galactic refugees, because they, whilst in the fight, Galactus manages to destroy the Earth, and then the TVA go, well, we kind of need somewhere to put you because there's nowhere else for you to, these guys don't have a Fantastic Four, and you're, the most beloved, the kind of the kooky, wonderful characters.
Yeah.
With the humility and a humbleness and that sort of 60s perfect nuclear family kind of thing. we'll put you in the MCU where everything's full of death and despair and half the universe vanished, and they really need someone who's just nice for a bit.
I mean, that's because of how the settings that they're used to, and again, on the assumption they've done missions in space and stuff, they've been to different planets and that. To go from that world that they've got to the effectively shithole that is 616 and all the bad things that have happened, that'd be like the most surreal adventure they could do, really.
That'd be a wake-up call they wouldn't want. They'd
yeah.
We just go back to like handling like purse snatchers and stuff like that.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Like everyone will say, like I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I was talking about it with you, but I definitely talked about it with somebody else as well. But when Null was being brought into, have you watched Venom: The Last Dance? No. But I was very, very unhappy when I found out Null was going to be in it, because I was like, Null he's way above Thanos in terms of threat to humanity, and in the comics, Fantastic Four, the Avengers, Silver Surfer, the X-Men, like all of these different Marvel characters have come together to fight Null. Fantastic Four all got murdered. Loads of the Avengers got like, he's too powerful. And even in that sentence where you go, he killed all the Fantastic Four. I mean, like they're not the strongest of all the Marvel characters. They're just the most beloved. And that doesn't work against Galactus and against Null, against Thanos. To go, leave these guys, they're all right. Don't worry about it.
It makes sense, because you go, he's got technology or whatever. He's like, if you got, several of the Avengers, and then Tony Stark decided he was going to be a prick, he would be a problem.
Yeah,
but
100%.
Eventually, you could handle him. Eventually, you just chip away at him or whatever. And I imagine it's the same sort of thing, depending on if they do Doom, and it depends on what type of Doom they do. If it's a magic Doom, then again, they could be catapulted into a world that they are not prepared for.
Yeah.
And also, it's things like the Thing. Like the Thing has always been kind of downplayed a lot. Like, so you say that they try and hold him up. I think in terms of size and scope, yeah, but not in strength. Like, he's significantly stronger than I've seen him in. Yeah. I don't know if you disagree with that, but as far as I'm aware, he's significantly stronger than he's been in any live action.
He is. He's not as strong as Hulk. There's only a couple of times, like in the comics, when Johnny Storm dies, but he comes back because it's comics. But when he dies, the Thing is just obviously he's lost his basically brother, like family and whatnot, and the Hulk just lets him just beat him up, just get it out, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And you can tell, you can tell that it's not affected him in the fucking slightest, but he's just fucking going for it. And as far as I'm aware, there's only one instance where he's beat him, and that's on the Thing's wedding day. And even then, I think Hulk let him win.
Right.
If I remember right. I could be wrong there, though. But when... Like, I've seen a lot. That was the second thing that annoyed me with the internet. Was people complaining that he looks about the same size as Reed Richards. Yes, because he's 6 foot. Hulk traditionally is about 7 foot, and then sometimes he's fucking 12 foot. But
it's
they're not
a rage-based thing, though, isn't it? Like, he gets bigger and stronger depending on how. Yeah.
But
whereas he's just turned into rock. He's not. Like,
he's not going to grow.
The Fantastic Fantastic, he was sort of like in like a rock cocoon almost, and then was like ripped out of that. He's just the same dude, just made
his
of rocks.
Skin's just rocks, yeah.
Well, it's not even his skin, I don't think, is it?
I'm pretty sure it's his. And I think like his organs and stuff are all still goopy and squishy and
really
whatnot. I'm pretty sure they are.
But then all you need to do is just fall over and you crush your own organs.
But I think it is like everything's protected, and I don't think you could like punch your way through to get to them. I could be incorrect on that. But I'm pretty sure he's just a bloke covered in rocks.
Oh, right. I don't know. But, I don't think it's been... Because he's typically got, like, just an impenetrable skin.
Yeah, like, that's what I mean. Everything's still... Like, he's still got heart and he's still got, like, lungs and stuff. But everything's protected because you can't get through. Like, I don't even think the Hulk could, like, punch his way through him. But I think, like, aesthetically, everything looks fucking... perfect, like the vibe of it. The only thing I'm a bit off of, and I think she's who's playing Sue. I can't remember her name.
No, neither can I. And I recognise her. And I was trying to think, is she... I think she was in one of the James Bond movies.
Mission Impossible.
Yes, sorry. Yeah, she was like an arms dealer or something like that, or an
yeah.
information broker or something like that in Mission Impossible. And as soon as I thought that, I was like, oh, but is it though? Because she doesn't look...
It's definitely her, but I just can't remember
if
her
that's
name.
the case, because it was putting doubts in my head. It was like, well, she looks too nice. Which, again, is probably a testament to her as an actress more than anything.
Which is I really like her as an actress, but as Sue with the hair, I don't know why, she looks a lot older.
I thought she looked a lot, especially considering that Pedro Pascal, I've seen him as like a 50-year-old grey-haired bloke in like The Last of Us, and then like I don't even know what his real age is anymore. He just seems to fluctuate from movie to movie. Is he in his late 20s or his early 60s? I don't know. But he seems to be much older than she does. But in the sense of, in the 60s, it looks like all the blokes were about 30 years older than their particular wives.
Yeah.
Like if you look at Stranger Things, all the dads in Stranger Things all look way older than the moms, right? And it's in that sort of sense that they're probably the same age. It's just that everyone when they were 30 in the 60s all dressed and seemed and acted like they were 62. Because that's how you were. You know, that was just the suits
and the hats and everything. Even in WandaVision, even though Vision is a robot, like when he was going to work and stuff, and the clothes he had to wear, whereas Wanda was dolled up, did make bacon and stuff like that.
That's probably a big part of it. Yeah.
So
they could be the same age. They just look very different from each other.
I think it's just certain shots for me, and I think it is just because it's that almost peroxide white hair that I think does it in certain shots. Not every shot, just someone. But I really like her as an actress, so I'm going doubts on that.
To be fair, like again, I watched The Bear. Like when we were initially talking about the casting for the Fantastic Four, and you said it was the guy from The Bear. I thought you meant the main guy from The Bear, and I was like, "Ooh, I don't know about that." But the other, I can't remember. I've only seen season 1 of The Bear. It is amazing, so I genuinely recommend it. But his attitude and his sort of like, "Hey, forget about it," kind of like New York Brooklynness or whatever, seems really well suited for him. And I like the fact that like the opening shot is him in the kitchen cooking. So I was
going to ask,
you've done that on purpose.
Do you think that's because of The Bear?
100%. Yeah, because then they go, it's the guy from The Bear. Remember The Bear, the cooking thing that everyone fucking loves? That's the
good line.
So I'm assuming he's going to do mainly just VO work. So like there might be some of like the flashback and stuff like when he's
he's in a
suit,
TV,
but
because it's not the thing. He's not all CGI. He's got a suit on.
No, I just assumed that you just get some random.
I mean, as far as I'm aware, it's him doing it.
Good for him then. Yeah, he's committed to it then. Yeah, fair play.
If that was me, I wouldn't.
I just like no, just make it. Just put someone who's similar size. I'll do the voice.
I mean, I'll show up to set and I'll just sit down, watch
I'll take
everything
pictures
else.
with you and whatever. Yeah.
And when you're going to take pictures for the news, I'll just get in the shot.
Yeah. Oh, can we get the guy who was in the suit? No.
Just give me the head. I'll just hold the head as if I just took it off.
It'd be David Prowse all over again. Just be like, no, I'm the real thing.
Do your impression.
What?
The original Vader talking to the Resistance.
Oh, I can't do it. I can't do like the Somerset accent. Sorry.
But no, it looks great. Like Herbie looks real good as well.
Oh yeah, like proper 60s, like Rob the Robot kind of.
It reminds me of the Jetsons.
Clunky. Yeah, kinda. Yeah, like I imagine that there'd be a lot of sort of like if he's got cool gadgets, he'll have a TV, but it will be a 40-inch TV and it's 65 inches backwards. Then when it slides out the floor, like half the room needs to move up the way for this TV. Because like you can't have it. Well, no, it wouldn't be that. You couldn't have like a TV that came out of the floor. It would be the wall would need to move to reveal the TV on the other side because it's too big and static. But the fact that like his cool gadget that you see in the trailer is a blackboard that comes up a little bit higher, fantastic. Yeah.
Fantastic Hours also that makes an appearance in it.
Yeah, I imagine it's like the Incredibile, I guess, that it will just transform into a flying car.
I like the fact that when we first see it as well, we're in like the 4:3 ratio, and then as the trailer goes on, it moves into widescreen a little bit.
Out. Yeah,
and I really like that. There was a few shots in, I think it was Mandalorian, season 1 of that, where it was letterbox, and then when it got to a fight scene, it went up to, it was just full screen without the letterbox, and then when it came back, it had come back in slow. And I don't know why I really like that visual look.
Yeah.
And I liked it in this because it gives you that. I don't know if have you ever heard of a show called Minx?
No.
It's I forgot the fucking guy's name, but it's the voice of Peter B. Parker from Into the Spider-Verse and Nick Miller from New Girl. And it's in the 70s, and it's basically, you got like Playboy magazine and stuff, and like boobies and everything else, sex sells. But then you got this woman who's I think it is a true story, but she's like trying to write magazines for like feminism and stuff and women's rights and everything else.
Sure.
And the only publisher that will give her the time of day is Nick Miller. I can't remember his real name or any other character other than New Girl. So Nick Miller, but he's a porn magazine publisher. So they come up with the idea of male centerfolds. But
okay, so Playgirl in essence.
Yeah, effectively, yeah, but it's called Minx. The magazine is hence the title of the show.
Gotcha.
And not to spoil it because it's worth watching. It's interesting, but it's very funny.
Honestly, I've never even heard of this.
I saw it a while ago just because of watching New Girl, and I forgot all about it. And then because I've been watching Community, it came up while I was watching it, and I was like, "That's what I was going to watch." So I started watching it, but Zoe fell asleep on the first episode, and I watched that. Obviously, shockingly, she fell asleep. But I watched the first one and then turned it off. Next day, I was like, "Watch the first one, but catch up on it, and we can watch the second one." And then all I could hear was, "Look the size of that dick! Oh my god, look how big that dick is!" But you didn't expect it because it like a lot of the shows where it would just be you know they're naked, but it only shows you like the torso, and they'll be there. Nah, they're just wanging around all over the place.
Wanging around, yeah,
literally wanging around. And you got like one of the girls who is a model, but she's like kind of taking like an admin role for the magazine, and the writer is very prude and like we do really like they all look the same, don't they? Like, no, you got small ones, you got chubby ones, you got big ones, you got long ones, and looks reels off this fucking list. It's very funny. Anyway, that's in like the 70s, and it's that same like bluey yellow hazy like filter over everything. But I was saying to Zoe, what I love about shows like this, Stranger Things, now Minx, Fantastic Four, is how authentic. To a lesser degree with Fantastic Four because it's all made up, but the vibe, you go, that looks like the 70s. And with stuff like Minx, where they've got these buildings that obviously they were made in like the 60s or the 70s or even earlier, that probably still exist today, but they've cleaned them up so they look brand new. And I fucking love that. I know that's a massive pivot away from Fantastic Four, but I love that vibe when it's nailed correctly.
I agree, and that's why I think it would be interesting, because if you see them with their sort of like, oh yes, well we all sit down for Sunday lunch at, it's 7 o'clock every week, the world could be on fire.
7 o'clock on the dot.
Yeah, I love that sort of like, old fusty professor kind of vibe to him.
Yeah.
And then all I can think is like, in Infinity War, just after Bruce has been smashed through the Sanctum Sanctorum roof, and then they all go outside and like the aliens are just there, and like they go outside, there's just wind everywhere, there's this huge spaceship, they're all just sort of in their street clothes, like what the fuck. All I can think is that sort of like same shock of like what the hell's going on, like impact that they have if they just suddenly got zipped into this MCU Prime universe, and they came out of whatever fucking lab or whatever they came out of, everything they'd be looking around and go, what is this? Yeah. Like they're there in their silly blue and white floppy costumes with their big gloves and their big white boots, and then they've got a fucking Daredevil running around. They've got the Punisher. You've got Spider-Man.
It's going to happen, though, isn't it?
They'd just be like, we are not ready for this. Like this is above our level.
I mean, I wouldn't prefer it, but it'd be funny if you had the exact same premise and they get zipped into the MCU, but they've got Herbie with them, and they've got Herbie, but it's Ultron. It's like, it's the real fucking robot.
Yeah, Jarvis would take over that thing like that. It was like, no, you're mine now.
But that's I don't want to jinx it, but it looks real good, Dan.
I agree, mate.
Very
I
promising.
think, like, Brave New World, I'm just sort of like, maybe I'll go to the cinema and see it. Like, it's fallen off quite a bit. Like the whole, am I interested to go to the cinema and see it?
I probably will.
Really, Brave New World potentially might be the one where I'm like, I'll give it a punt. It's a new cap and maybe.
I'm
but
more thingy with that in the newest like TV spot trailer, where
yes, I think Callum, they did that on purpose.
The serum.
His, and like the adamantium and the celestial or whatever it is, that's crawling out of the ground at the sea. Sorry, at the end of Eternals, and they've just gone, here's a MacGuffin that we can use to just create a new thing.
Yeah.
That I think is going to be people just going, ooh, okay. So it's not just like Falcon and Winter Soldier. There's like, okay, this is bigger, connecting stories and whatever.
Do you reckon it'll just be that bit though? They've just added that bit. They've took the exact shot from Eternals.
Honestly, it looks the same. It looks the same. And they just said, we're not going to show you, but we went on a mission and like collected a bunch of stuff from it, and we've got this new rock.
This is what we made.
Blah, 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 Wolverine. Or whatever.
They're just linking at stuff for it. And I don't dislike Sam as Captain America. I think Bucky was the obvious choice, and he was the original choice in the comics before Sam was, but whatever. It's the fact that...
True, but this Bucky hasn't been a sidekick, though, has he? It's not as if he's been training with Captain America. He's been the anti-Captain America for like 60 years or whatever.
He's also the one that taught Sam how to throw the shield. In Falcon and Winter Soldier. Everything he's done, with the exception of the wing stuff, he's been taught by Bucky, who is just Captain America with a metal arm.
He is. But that's the thing. That's the point, though, and it's not about having the serum. It's about it's about the wisdom. It's about the the responsibility. And I think that's
and that's what he stands for.
Story wise, that's a more interesting way of going down. It's just like it's just another guy, because then you go, well, that one died, so give a bit more serum to this guy, and then he can go and do it instead. Yeah.
But when you've got to fight a Red Hulk. That serum would be real handy.
Maybe, but he can't fly, though, can he?
Who, Red Hulk?
Yeah.
They can jump very
Keep it at distance. Keep it at distance and shoot him forever. Eventually, one of them will get through.
I'm pretty sure Sam would run out of energy, die just from old age.
I think his sun would burn out before he managed to shoot him.
But it's just, even if you give him an adamantium suit...
It would have to be. The only reason to mention that word is, one, linked to the X-Men. Two, that's how he can beat him, because now he's got an adamantium shield. Now he's got an adamantium wingsuit. They're going to
kit him out with everything. But
how annoyed is everyone in Wakanda going to be? Just go, so now there's a better thing.
It's basically Primark now.
The thing is, though, I reckon if they just say that, look, vibranium is like a thing that can be used as like for energy and like for every like all the uses that they have for it. That's still very much the case, and it's incredibly strong. But this stuff is just a metal. It's just a metal, but that one is indestructible. Yeah, and that's your limit. Because I didn't power a bus with it or whatever. You just say we can. If you sculpt it into a thing,
I don't think it has
be that thing, and it will be there forever.
I don't think adamantium's been used as anything but a weaponized substance.
It's just an alloy, isn't it?
That's what I mean. Whereas vibranium's been shown to have different properties.
That's my point.
To it.
So that you go, well, there's benefits of both, really.
Yeah.
If you want an indestructible suit, sure, but it can't power the suit as well. Like the vibranium Black Panther suit, like it's got like energy dampening things. It's got like shockwave abilities and that kind of stuff. But I'd imagine that it's not. That's like a. I don't know. I don't know if it's been explained or if I just can't remember, but I don't remember having like a separate power source. I assumed that it was just like the energy properties of the vibranium.
I think it's just how it works, and it doesn't make any scientific sense. But like you say, when it gets hit, that triggers the like around it.
Yeah, but it's like it's drawing on its own energy source.
Yeah,
kind of thing. Whereas
Yeah,
this would just
like
be
it doesn't.
no.
Stop.
You cover someone in it, and they
It's
can't
just armor.
move.
But that's the next thing though, is you can go, here's this adamantium suit, so like it's not like Iron Man style armor, but everything's laced and whatnot, the wings and all that shit. Any of the Hulks, even the weakest of the Hulks, you punch it, all his bones and stuff are still going to break.
Yeah,
the armor will stay intact, but is reverberations the right term?
Well, the point of vibranium is that it absorbs all impact.
No, the adamantium, I mean.
No, but that being the difference is that if you've got a vibranium shield and you punch it, theoretically, or according to its own sort of weird logic, the energy would be dispelled, but you would be fine. Flashback to Avengers, Thor smacks it with his hammer, and it causes a shockwave, which again they've used as a weapon, and its shockwaves will destroy everything around it.
But he's also a super soldier.
On his arse. That's true, but if the logic of the metal is the same, you could hold it and it would be the same thing because it's unflappable. You can't move it. Whereas with adamantium, I suppose you're right. You'd smack it and you would go flying back with it.
Yeah, the shield would stay where it is.
It would be fine. You'd be paced, but it wouldn't absorb it in the same way, I believe. And again, it depends entirely on how they want to differentiate them, if at all they do. Or they just go, this one's just better, so this replaces it now. Because theoretically, all you do is you go, well, we've got Cap Shield, it's made of vibranium. Give it a millimetre thick coating of adamantium. And now it's not only indestructible, but it also can absorb. It's also
unwieldy for a human man, and he can't throw it anymore.
No, like I say, just a tiny, like a minuscule.
You'd have to change all the thingies of it, wouldn't you? Because it's been designed in order to defy gravity.
Yeah, I mean, but then if you go, well, it's bouncy properties or whatever, like that goes because it can't do that anymore. If you throw it at the floor, it'll just stick in the floor.
I mean, the worst.
You throw it at a tree, it'll just cut through the tree. Like you're not going to bounce it off things anymore.
If with Sam, if you throw a chair at it, it just falls to the floor. So I love that. Again,
they're a bit picky and choosy with. It's indestructible until we don't need it to be. It can absorb all energy until we need it to not do that.
But I'm of the understanding, and I do agree with it, that, like, because you'll see that meme, and Cap throws it, like Steve Rogers throws it, it's like, do. Bucky does the same. Then it shows you the scene with Cap and Bucky and Iron Man, where they're throwing it between each other.
Yeah, pinging
and
everything
else.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to the scene from Falcon and Winter Soldier where Sam throws it and then that guy just kicks the chair at it and it just drops to the floor. Every other shot that we saw is a super soldier throwing it.
Yeah.
And obviously Sam isn't, so I'm fine with that, and he's learned how to use it and everything else. But when you've still got to explain it in a way that makes sense, and I think we've just put more effort into trying to explain what could be the explanation for it than they're going to put in the film. I honestly think they're just going to go, hey, it's adamantium, and it'll be the end of that. That's why he could withstand a punch from a Red Hulk, and in the trailer it sparks as well.
That I don't get. It's not a Power Ranger.
Yeah, it's like, unless he's chipping paint off. There should be no sparks.
Knuckle dusters on him.
Which he might have, I don't know.
A Hulk doesn't need an extra advantage, does he? Especially when punching a man.
He might not know he's a man. He goes, that's Captain America. He's a super soldier. I know this because I watched the other films.
Me, Harrison Ford, new to this franchise.
I will say, I like the Harrison Ford face on the Red Hulk.
It's as impressive as it's Mark Ruffalo's face.
No, I'm just saying I like it because it's Harrison Ford.
I recognise it, as Harrison Ford. Does he have a mustache?
No.
Then failed.
But I assume that it's down to Harrison Ford.
Fail.
There's no reason they couldn't have just opposite Cavill.
Maybe they didn't. No, they didn't want another mustache.
They CGI'd a mustache onto him.
Yeah, they just go, we're not getting involved in all that. Because then people will be like, oh, well, maybe if you'd spend the money on better scriptwriters than fucking mustache effects.
Maybe that's why he becomes Red Hulk. all the reasons that we think it's going to be, and like all the comic accurate stuff. It's not.
Maybe that's what triggers it. He's being
gets
camera
it ripped
exposed or
off.
whatever it is. He gets it ripped off, and that's what turns him that first time.
Yeah,
because he's so furious.
That's what I do.
He's so beyond rage. Like, he starts off as green, and then he's so angry because his mustache is gone. He turns it red.
Because what we haven't seen is like the final Red Hulk. It's just a big hairy mustache.
Yeah,
it's not even a Hulk anymore.
Yeah. Or just like, he's got like Medusa powers in his mustache, so he can like control it and grab people up and throw them around with it.
I was thinking more of like Crank, where he has to go on a rage bender, otherwise he turns into a mustache. He just has to keep destroying things until Sam finds a cure.
He's a wear-stache. once every
Sonic the Hedgehog
turns into a giant mustache.
A mustache moon.
Yeah.
What was that Sonic game where he turned into a fucking werewolf? Well, werehog.
No idea.
It's got awful reviews. I know. I never played it, but it's got real bad reviews. But yeah, I mean, I'll probably go cinema see it. It's an MCU film. We haven't had an MCU film cinema worthy for a while. But I think in terms of excitement, Deadpool would have been the last one. But in terms of excitement, if you said you can go to the cinema to see Fantastic Four or Captain America, Brave New World,
yeah.
Obviously it's going to be Cap. But it's Fantastic Four 100% every fucking time.
Yeah, I think this one's going to get people back in. I think people are going to go, oh, I remember the old ones, from my old childhood or whatever. This seems like they know what they're doing a bit more. And that guy, I recognise that guy. Oh, that girl, I recognise that girl. Oh my God, the bear, I recognise that show. Like, that's what they'll see. And they'll go, this is something. It'll be the same as X-Men. They'll go, now they kind of know what they're doing. And now they've got this property that they can do something with. I'm going to go and check that one out. I reckon this will be $1 billion. Unless
easy.
It gets obliterated in the reviews and they just go, God, just watch Rise of the Silver Surfer instead.
I don't hate Rise of the Silver Surfer.
You should.
I don't like it. Don't get me wrong. But there's a little bit of nostalgia there.
Is it just because Doug Jones and Andre Braugh are in it?
Maybe. Unlikely that they would be the saving grace of an awful film. But I still like the casting of, again, I'm really bad today for names, but who played Doom, the guy from Nick Tuck.
Oh, yeah.
I really liked him as Doom. Not in the films, but I think he was a good choice.
Yeah, but again, it's all because
nothing to work with.
He's got the mask on for 20 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, he has it more in Silver Surfer. It's like through most of the film.
But that's also because he's on a board flying around, so he don't need to see his face or can't anyway.
Oh, that's something we didn't see in the trailer. Silver Surfer.
Well, is he going to be there?
To the lady.
Oh, they're doing a female one. Okay. Well, we also didn't get to see Reed doing any stretching.
I've got a feeling they learnt from the Fantastic Four Fox movies, and he won't do any.
Yeah, we can't do it.
It'll all be off screen, or
I think they'll do it in a way that they haven't been doing it before. It won't just be a big stretchy punch. It will be he turns himself into a brick and drops himself on someone.
Yeah,
or, he turns himself into a giant paper aeroplane and Ben throws him at someone. Or do you know what I mean? It'll be that kind of. I reckon they go a bit 60s, a bit wacky with it, a bit 60s.
I think they'll
Batman.
just do camera trickery, so it'll be like this, where I need to do this right. So if I go like that, ooh. Let's go. Hey Sue, what's that over there? That's what they'll do.
Yeah.
But there's audio listeners. I did something silly on the camera, but
it's very funny.
I think it's the hardest one to do, and they did an okay job in Multiverse of Madness. The very brief bit of stretchy that he did before he gets disintegrated.
Well, he stretched towards the camera and then he got killed immediately. Like that's.
But I think that was a
anything.
safe move though, because it does look. I think that's one of the hardest things to do CGI wise, and if they haven't, I think the beauty of the new film is because it's got that 70s aesthetic, grainy filter to it. You could probably not get the CGI perfect, But by the time they get to 616 universe, it needs to look really, really, really good. Personally, that's how I see it. But I do think it was probably a choice not to include anything in the trailer from Reed. Maybe he just doesn't do any. Maybe he didn't get any powers.
Well, that would be disappointing.
It's actually Fantastic 3.
What? But why? Because I'm good at maths and stuff.
I'm just real smart.
Yeah, prove me wrong. Yeah.
Because to be fair, he didn't even mention it. He mentioned when the first time we went up, you couldn't turn invisible. Ben wasn't a rock, and Johnny couldn't set himself on fire. He doesn't say anything about stretching.
6 feet long.
Yeah, he doesn't say anything about that.
Yeah.
Maybe he was insider at the time, and it wasn't appropriate to mention it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. It's got to look somewhat decent, hasn't it? Have we had anything similar in an MCU film, stretchy wise?
Not really. Sort of like
because Kamala, they changed her powers, didn't they?
Yeah. So she was just it was like glowy.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't really stretchiness in the same sense. I'm trying to remember in the Marvels. Remember that film?
Yeah, she didn't do anything.
Like she didn't turn into a giant thing. It was a bit sort of Green Lantern-ish, wasn't it? Like
100% Green Lantern.
It would just be like a big fist that would just slam into them, but it's like a projection.
Yeah, it's like a light more than anything else.
It's not her body. Yeah.
No.
I don't think so. No, not in the same vein. Other than like people growing really big or whatever. But
yeah, I mean, you've got stuff like in Multiverse of Madness and in like Infinity War and stuff when they get turned into bubbles or spaghetti strings or whatever. I think that's probably the closest we've seen.
True, but that's also for one shot. That's not for.
That's what I mean. It's got to look good for a whole film.
But that's what I mean. Like that's why I think that instead of him just being like, I'm just going to punch you from across the room. He'll be like, his more advanced stretchy abilities will be like,
yeah,
I'll turn my hand into a screwdriver whilst I'm
like
preparing this
Lego
machine.
Marvel. So you turn into like a teapot, or you turn into like a screwdriver and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like but isn't he supposed to be able to like he can squash himself down to like the thickness of an atom or something like that?
I mean, you can do some incredible. You can do some really, really. I'm not sure about the that kind of density.
It's like
you can do some incredible things.
Like he could just he could T-1000 basically. He could just sort of like be the floor and then just swallow you whole.
Yeah, yeah. Same as like Elastigirl in The Incredibles, where like parachute
that's
herself.
Exactly right. If you want to think of anything, and that's why I think that like if he gets shot, the bullet just goes boom.
Yeah,
and then just pops out of him the other side. He doesn't need a bulletproof suit because he's so elasticated that
he could Roger Rabbit it. He's just like whoop whoop whoop.
That's the mask you're thinking of.
I'm sure didn't the Doc do it when he gets squashed? And Eddie shoots him after he gets steamrolled, and he's just like, "Oh, what are you gonna do, Eddie?"
No,
and then
he
takes the shot
at him, doesn't he? And then he dumps him in the.
I'm sure that's after. I'm sure Eddie takes a shot, and he like just goes whoop whoop. I don't think he lifts his trousers up, but I'm sure he moves out of the way while he's all flat, and then he's like blows himself up, and then he gives us the springs.
No, because like he's blowing himself up. He's all like wibbly wobbly, and then he sort of goes like woo, and then like gets himself over to the helium or whatever.
It could be the mask I'm thinking of. Could be the mask I'm thinking of.
He definitely does it in the mask, but I can't remember.
I love Roger Rabbit as well. That disappoints me.
Oh,
anyway, it's irrelevant. But
that's that sort of thing where you could be, he could be a 2D.
But I'd like to see it in the lab. So he's doing something on the thing, and he's like, oh, and then he reaches across, stretches over, gets a beaker of something, or writes on a different board, that kind of thing. I'd like to see that kind of stuff. But like you say, for either battles or for doing stuff, I think it would be really, really fun to. Oh, we can't get into this thing, so he just turns his finger into a key and that kind of silly thing. Yeah, just like that kind of really, really silly things we haven't seen in a Marvel movie with Mr. Fantastic. But it's slightly nerving like that they haven't shown anything. We've seen Sue invisible. We've seen Ben in as the Thing. Seen Johnny set on fire. We haven't seen anything.
But the fire, like the fire thing though, it doesn't look any different from like not that it needs to be, but it just does it seem that have they just nailed CG fire like for that kind of thing? They just
I'd say
it
for the most
doesn't need
part.
to be.
Something interesting on this, though, that's worth going back to the trailer and looking at. When on the shot that we see where he goes and then comes out the window and flies off, the actual lens gets dirty.
Well, like it's covered in like burnt clothes.
Yeah, it's just gone, and then it goes fades off as he goes. But I think that's a really, really nice visual touch.
Well, there's also like he's flying into space or something like that, and then
I assume he's chasing a Silver Surfer.
Potentially, but then his flames just turn off. Like, you're an astronaut, aren't you?
Maybe he wasn't. He didn't do it himself.
No, he was so far out that clearly there's no air, or he's in space now, so he's cold. So there's nothing for him to burn in.
But it could be the fact that he's never flown that far before,
mate. If you could turn into fire and fly for the sky,
you're
telling me that you wouldn't try it once.
But has that never happened before, though? Because I'm sure he can fly in space.
But he's just on fire, though, isn't he? Like, he still needs oxygen to breathe.
I suppose.
Plus, is he just igniting the air around him, or is he creating the fire?
I think it's his body doing it, isn't it?
But fire still, fire can't. It doesn't matter the cause of it. Fire can't exist in space. There's nothing for it to ignite.
Can Johnny Storm go to space?
Yes, in a spaceship.
I mean, to be fair, that's what it does say about. It doesn't actually say.
Because surely
it makes
fire
sense.
In any form needs an atmosphere. It needs fuel. It needs oxygen or whatever.
Yeah, he can go to space, but the light's not visible. Oh no, until it hits the surface.
What?
He's going on about light and stuff and like how fire works in space. But the next thing down was he can, but he does need oxygen. So I assume if he had some kind of paraphernalia from Reed where he could just have it on. But I don't know how that would actually work because he's on fire. So if he's got a tank, it's just going to explode.
That's true. So if you've got your credit cards in your pockets and you've got to jump off a building, well, they're all gone, incinerated immediately. Your phone gone.
But again, that'd be your in the Flash, the Flash CW show, where they make him the material so the shoes don't burn up and. Well, I assume Reed's.
Well, presumably they're they're also the world famous at this point.
He's got a bum bag.
We'll give Johnny Storm, we'll give the Human Torch a credit card, and famously, because of our incredible delivery service, every time he melts it, because he's turned into flames, we'll send him another one the next day, and you too can join up with our again the sort of sponsorship shit that they did. If everyone knows who they are as individuals, then surely you get stuff like that all day. Where they go, we'll fund all your research and whatever. Just stick a big Nescafe logo on the top of the Baxter building or whatever.
It needs to be I can only think of Connect 4. I was trying to think of things that have got 4 in the title products where you could swap it out.
WD-40.
Yes, stuff like that. Is that called anything else in America?
WD-40? I don't think so.
I don't know. I assume they just call it lubricant or something stupid. It's compressed lubricant. But I mean, that's a similar thing to what they did in the Fox stuff, though, wasn't it? Where they got celebrity status and
which again, it makes sense that it's covered in Marlboro logos or whatever because they go, well, we'll just pay you $1 million if you fly around with this on.
That's the thing. 70s, it would be all cigarettes and snakeskin.
I think you might be pushing your luck. There's not going to be incessant racism and smoking in this film.
But it looks great. Just from one trailer, this has been.
Yeah, I'm already. This is the one I'm sort of this because this is the first time that this studio has got their hands on it. It's not any comment on the writers. It's not any comment on the direction and any other element of it. It's just that because this is going to be a new direction, literally in every sort of aspect for it. I want to see what they do. It could be poo, mate. It could just be sort of God, how fucking boring. They just stand around in tweed jackets all day smoking and just moaning about, bloody hell communism or whatever. And then, they do a bit of stretching, they have a bit of a rumble with Galactus, and then they, kapow, and he's off the planet.
Yeah.
And they go, oh, what's this? A scary portal? So it could be nothing. But this could be this could be the flashpoint to go, oh, there's something back in these again now. Like, I'm excited for these again. I want to go back and see these more. Because then, oh my god, Avengers and X-Men and the Fantastic Four all, and that team, oh my god, what's that going to be like? That'll be the next big thing. Like, if this works, and then they can do an X-Men thing, that works. Getting all of them together again. Oh.
Just fast forward to the X-Men, inevitable X-Men movie. Do you reckon they'll sneak in the theme song?
I mean, they've already done it in like 4 different fucking movies and shows at this point.
Have they?
Yeah, it was in, the sting of it was in Ms. Marvel. It was also in Multiverse of Madness.
I don't remember the X-Men theme song in Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure when Xavier comes around the corner in his wheelchair, it's like a... Not
No,
like a...
you did. Yeah.
It's just something like that. It's a play on it.
They did. I take it back. It's not as interesting now. Forget about it. I don't think the question's through.
But I think there's another one. Obviously, they've just done X-Men 97 as well, which is amazing.
Oh, that's nice. I can't wait for the next season of that. Although the showrunner's not on the new season, so may or may not be as good. It's
not all, any good or bad show isn't down to one individual, so
we'll see. But do you think we're going to go... So we've got this Fantastic Four universe, which for now we're just going to call Universe 4. Because it's way easier to fucking remember. Do you think, will the X-Men be its own universe?
The way they're going, yeah, because there's no other way of explaining.
Bridge that gap.
Yeah, again, you could just go TVA and just go, right, we need a super team.
Well, we already know it exists. Because it's in that's in the Marvels, obviously, when Thingy's mum wakes up. And you got Beast and
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
So they Beast. Oh, yeah. Sorry. When she fucking what's her name? When she wakes up.
Photon,
but I forgot what's her name.
Oh, it's Rambo.
Rambo. When obviously the X-Men exists. That's a universe where the X-Men exist. But do you think that's the same X-Men we're gonna get, or do you think that's a multiverse?
If it's pointless if you don't. Why would they go? Oh, not these X-Men. These X-Men.
That's what I mean. Like, but is that going to be
the Kelsey Grammer Beast? But the one you actually get is going to be the Nicholas Hoult Beast. Everyone's like, ah!
They better fucking not, I swear to God. There's very few people who are perfect for casting. Kelsey Grammer's one of them.
Yeah, he's just do the voice, mate.
He's Beast.
He's too old for it now to do the physical stuff.
I mean,
but,
he did say himself when he was originally asked, he was up for prosthetics and stuff. But when they were it's going to be way easier to just...
3-second cameo. You do.
You go there for a whole film.
2 hours of makeup and that's it. Yeah, do it for a whole film. Like 2 months in, you're like, I hate it. Don't put this blue shit on me anymore. I'm going to die.
But he's so good. And that model of Beast was it wasn't the most polished. It seemed like a rushed model.
A bit fuzzy, like not in a fur way. Like, like they blur the camera a little bit so it disguises some of its sort of dodginess.
Yeah.
But yeah, it would be like whatever that universe is, she'll be the bridging point for that. But again, they go, oh my god, we've got Super Galactus. It's Thanos and Galactus and all of these all combined. Oh my god, it's a multiverse ending. Oh my god, which is what potentially Kang could have been.
Yeah.
Oh my god, everything, everywhere, at all times, forever is going to die. We need the best of the best, right? Avengers from your original, your prime timeline.
Yeah.
You guys have handled yourself pretty well so far. No one can really knock your results, so we'll have you. X-Men, you're again in that sort of Wolverine way. You're the best version of the X-Men. You'll come over, and then Fantastic Four. This Fantastic Four, you're the best version of that Fantastic Four.
Do you think even though would be the best that they would be able to take out Galactus and Thanos and Kang.
It depends. Like, we don't know what kind of crazy stretching powers he's got. He could stretch so fast he put a hole through the sun. You just don't know.
Can you imagine if that was how they would, like, Thanos is walking out and he's just like, we meet again, and then Reed is the floor and he just swallows them all up and he's like, done. And then Hulk just swings them around and just throws them out.
Well, I reckon that they'll remember that Jessica Alba line in, I think, Fantastic Four 2, like the Silver Surfer, where she says, like, oh my, I could create a force field inside your body and explode you. I reckon they'll do that.
You reckon? As a callback, or just as a...
no, purely as a... remember when she said that thing that she definitely couldn't and wouldn't do. This Sue's a bit more unhinged. Or, I
don't know. I'd like to see it, but then I think people will go, that means this is the Fantastic Four universe. The Fox universe Fantastic Four. That's a callback.
I don't think so. Unless they did sort of like a, we've been having a look at all the Fantastic Four teams, and then they get, Chris Evans back again.
Yeah.
And like Michael Chiklis and all of that, get that one, and then get the Miles Teller lot together, and then go, ugh.
And the rest of development.
They go, these new ones, though, these are the cool guys. These are the ones you definitely want.
I do like the multi-level threat. Get like Pedro Pascal's Fantastic Four. Get whatever this universe X-Men is. New Avengers, like Annie Mackie and that, get fucking do one. We need the original ones back. The fuck out of it. All you just need Ronan. Get Clint's family to be dead again and just get him to go on a fucking rampage and kill everyone.
Yeah, but then you just get, just go, right, we need someone who's a bit more weathered, someone who's willing to just cut a bunch of people down in the street. We'll get him, we'll get Frank Castle in. He's got no qualms with riddling someone with bullets. I tell you what, send him on the fucking that Eternals thing and just go, right, I've got a machine gun that's full of adamantium bullets. There isn't a thing on this planet that can stop me anymore.
That's the problem, though. Like, you can't send Frank on that kind of recon mission. Like, not recon, what would be the word? Like, resource scavenging or whatever. Because it'll just be the same as when he gets the War Machine armor and he's just like, let me borrow it for this mission. And Fury's like, no, you can't trust you. He's like, well, I'm not doing it then. I'm not helping you. He's like, fine. And he's just like, give us the suit back. Nah, fuck off. And then he's got the Avengers and everybody after him. Well, that's what it'd be like. He'd go to source this adamantium and he'd come out just in armor, bullets, fucking everything.
Yeah, but you'd shoot someone with one of them and it would go through them, through the building behind them, through the building behind them, behind the building behind them, kill 3 kids, like go from a school behind that. It would just be like, whoops.
But you get that.
Maybe we shouldn't weaponize this stuff.
Get that to Howard Stark, and he could do it so like it does all of that, but then it comes back, and you just catch it, put it back in the bandolier.
No,
this is like Captain America bullets all over the fucking place.
No, I don't think that would work. No.
That'd be great though, because that's the next thing you've got is you're going to have Daredevil, Punisher, White Tiger. Potentially Iron Fist, if we eventually go down that road. We're still expecting a Nova movie. So
I think Nova's a missed trick at this point, considering they've kind of already gone past the cosmic-y side of things.
I assume that's where it should have popped up, but because of the backlash of how poor the films have been, these kind of...
Yeah, but wasn't the entirety of fucking...
Guardians.
What was their planet called? With the Nova Corps based?
No, Nova Corps.
Xandar.
Something like that, yeah.
Wasn't that destroyed by Thanos? Or its planet was, like, its population was wiped out?
Yeah.
So, theoretically, there is only potentially Nova that's left.
But maybe he's just flying around. He hasn't found Earth yet.
He's just flying in a straight line. He's like, I'll get there eventually.
He's going to get there, and then...
Give me 30 years, I'll get there.
And then he finally lands on Earth, and then Sue Storm puts a thing inside him and blows from the inside.
Alien, oh my God!
Told you,
that's the thing. Like, if you've got a Silver Surfer and a Galactus, have they been dealing with that sort of threat? Spider-Man goes, oh fucking hell, another alien army.
Not again.
All right, here we go. Yeah, it's just standard practice at this point. Whereas for them, would they be like, what? How are you hovering? Like you've got some sort of like, what is this, magnets? And they're like, no, it's like quantum physics. He's like, wait, what? Like, like what level of advancement are they going to be able to tackle?
But I
Because
suppose
I like the idea that if they are going up against like Doom, he's just got like a big clunky army of robots, like cardboard robots that just sort of like beep boop, fantastic four must destroy.
Like in Community with the Halloween one with the zombie outbreak, but when Troy's got the thingy suit made of like the pipes and stuff and cardboard. It's just basically them, but with pictures of him on the face. So it's just like Doom bots. They're just regular people. But there's no reason for them to have. They may have done like Avenger level threats, and we'll have some kind of like. I remember when we fought this first when we had this. They may have done that kind of thing, but it's unlikely they would have won on their own. Same with Galactus. It's unlikely they'll win on their own. And I assume Silver Surfer will team up with them to do it.
Potentially, yeah.
That'd be my thinking. Maybe even Doom joins up with them.
What, in that sort of like Lex Luthor kind of, oh God, well I hate you, but yeah, they're going to eat the planet, so yeah, all right, fine. But I'll take all the credit.
Happening. Yeah. But because it's, even though it's in the 70s, because it's an alternate like universe, it could be that's kind of like we said earlier, like the Jetsons, where it's all really old, but everything's way more futuristic than it is here, and that could still be the case in this universe.
Like Fallout.
Yeah. Like Fallout's a great example of it, and that's a very good point for like this like One Division style vibes to it, but with that Fallout charm, and it seems like it is a world that did exist, even though it obviously never did. But everything's very one of the things, I think it was you that pointed it out, but one of the reasons no, that's a bad example. I was going to say one of the reasons the Fallout TV show works so well, but that's not the only reason. But everything was purposely made and put in places.
Yeah.
And it gives it that really authentic feel to it. And I think if they can do a similar thing with this, where Reed's still writing on a blackboard, but he's got like Herbie just flying around doing shit. So that didn't exist in the 70s, obviously. And they say that the Fantastic are driving, all of a sudden wheels come in, goes off and flies. That's probably all going to be a thing, but as long as that world feels believable, I think it'll look great.
I think so, because like the spaceship that they fly off in is like a Thunderbird 3 kind of like 3-pronged rocket booster. Like it looks like a rocket ship from like an old 60s black and white. Previously on Planet of the Terrors, that's the spaceship.
It came from the stars.
Exactly. Which means that if he had a TV, it would be using a gigantic TV remote. Yeah. It would be this big, with big clicky buttons, or it'd be on a wire. But that was advanced even for the time. They go, fucking hell, a remote control. Wow. And they'd be and it's controlled by radio waves. Like, it would be the most innocuous thing these days. But that's my point, is that if they're sort of like dealing with, it's all wires and old bolts and rivets and stuff, and then you go, what, here's a nanosuit armor. And they go, what? They'd just be so out of their depth.
But that is a similar thing to Fallout, where like the TVs are like the dome style glass fronts on them, and then like you've got the like computers and the Pit Boys and stuff that's the black screen with green like text on and everything else. And you'll see all these really old, like whether it's like a toy car or something else, everything's really fucking old. But then you got power armor, just powered by nuclear fusion technology and stuff like that. But it goes really well together. But they haven't just gone, here's a Wi-Fi router and here's like an old calculator. Everything's very purposely designed in a way that molds together very well. And I think if they seem to have done that so far in the trailer. But I think if they can do that for this world, it will feel... I think it's going to feel different to 616 universe anyway, but it's going to feel vastly, vastly different. And you're going to go, this is obviously a different timeline. And maybe this becomes the new sacred timeline and they just carry on from here. I don't think that'll be the case. I think these will move over. But I like...
But like the Galactus helmet, though, looked very advanced. Like, it looked like it was like cool MCU normal tech. Whereas if they're using sort of like old cars and stuff like that, how would you deal with something that is like so far advanced? Like, that could be as advanced as, any kind of like Wakandan, Tony Stark, insane level of technology. You go up against Earth in the 70s. If you're Iron Man, you go up against Earth in the 70s or the 60s. You rule the planet. Yeah. What could anybody do to you?
That's what I mean with the Ultron thing. Like, if Ultron had gone to that timeline, they would have no fucking chance at all.
Absolutely not.
There's no defense against that kind of threat.
But then that'd be the thing, is that if that's not supposed to happen, if they're an anchor point for their universe, and the TVA goes, bloody hell, you're not prepared to deal with this, but if you guys die, well, then your universe unravels, and we're not supposed to be doing that anymore. So we'll get you a specialist team, and they'll come in, and then they go, well, fuck, they bollocksed it up, so we'll have to take you out, and then you can prevent Galactus from coming back in this timeline. Oh, by the way, here's like 80 years more advanced technology for you to work with and get your head around, and then Reed can just be like, this is like, I've been dreaming of this. Like, I can just there's a computer that I can talk to. Brilliant. I have any idea how much stuff I can get accomplished now. Or he would be like, I'm the stupidest, smartest person in the world. Because
why haven't I figured this out?
I have no idea how any of this works.
Yeah.
Like, I can design you a spaceship or whatever, but you asked me to explain how the internet works. Don't know.
Do you think, in that context though, where they've said like TVA have gone, we'll give you the resources to save your world, but they just look at it and they go, when it worked last time, just send Deadpool.
Can't be killed. It's really annoying.
But can you imagine, like, I think that would be a funny bit, to be fair, if you've got the Fantastic Four and TVA have told Reed and that, and they've gone like, this guy saved 2 universes, like, nearly on his own. He had another guy with him, but whatever. But this guy's done it.
We cannot afford to get them both back.
Yeah.
So, one's in a suit, you don't have to see the face. So
we've already got loads of VDR done for it, so we'll just put that in. And then, but it comes out, and then obviously it's them 5 versus Galactus. He's just like, the fuck is that? It's like, I think it would be quite funny.
He'd just turn around and just take me back. I'm not ready for anything like this.
I don't know who any of you are.
What am I going to do? What my sword's going to do against this? Are you kidding me?
But they've got. The only thing I can see happening is they team up with. I think that shot where Johnny flies off, he's chasing the Silver Surfer. They're either going to be. He's going to be an antagonist for a portion of the film. She's been an antagonist for a portion of the film. Probably a love interest for Johnny, and then they will join forces to fight Galactus. Or we don't see Galactus till the end. That end shot is the end of the film.
No, they won't put like the dun dun dun. They won't put that in the trailer.
I don't know. They've done it in other films. Nope.
Well, no, for the trailers for like the Silver Surfer film, Galactus wasn't, is it? The Silver Surfer was. So they put him in as a big swirly cloud thing.
Yeah.
But it wouldn't have made any sense to put him in the trailer because they doesn't do anything. So with that sort of like shot where he's just sort of like looking over and it's the Statue of Liberty, that to me is the establishes shot of he's just looking around and then he's going to go buzz and just obliterate it, and he's just going to be laying waste to everything. And I genuinely hope that they've been dealing with just sort of like mediocre 70s villains in big helmets and stuff like that. Going, and then this guy comes along and they try. It's just like things just pinging off him. There's just nothing they can do. And like you say, maybe they convince the Silver Surfer to have a crack at it, but he obliterates it, and then he's just sort of like, right, you've pissed me off, actually, Silver Surfer. And then if they all get transported into the MCU, then he's trying to find a way to get back to his Silver Surfer, or she's like a homing beacon for him to be able to transport through, or something like that.
Yeah.
And then you have like people that can actually do damage to him and sort him out. I'd love that. Like, like
That would be
he's
good.
blown up a whole planet. He's eaten planets through this whole thing. They've been brought through. They're all covered in dust and spluttering and go, oh my god, he's coming. And then he pops through, and then it's just like that Tony Stark where he just goes, they go, poink, and he just hit him with a rocket, and he just explodes immediately. They're like, what fucking universe are we in? Oh my god.
But that'd be even better, though, if they did that with... They've done that, but they've come, like I said, pulled them through. But that Doom was also with them, and he gets pulled through. But it's Tony Stark that comes. It's like, it's a Spider-Man meme. But there's loads of potentials for it. But I do like the idea of it being... It's a losing battle from the second they start. And it's that... Not as funny as X-Force, where they're all geared to go in. It's like, I've done this kind of calculations, and this is how we're gonna go at it. And then they just get fucking annihilated immediately, and they don't understand how the fuck we beat that. Mm-hmm. And even like Avengers and stuff, they would struggle with Galactus.
They would, but not anymore. I don't think. This seems like...
I mean, they've got Captain Marvel and stuff now, so like.
That's true. You call her in. She could sort out most of these things on her own, to be fair.
I mean, it's in the 70s. Just get Fury, get his page. Different universe, I know, but... but, I like the fact that you could have this kind of hyped up... everyone loves Fantastic Four, and there's talk shows and like newspapers and magazines and all this stuff. But then when it comes to this big fucking battle, and they just get fucking rinsed out because they're not prepared for this kind of fight. I think that would be really, really interesting. Whether they'll do something like that in the first iteration of the Fantastic Four.
No, I think it would
Unlikely.
be a lot safer, a lot calmer. They need to be winners.
Need to think the way out.
Yeah, exactly. So they go, God, it's a giant man. Well, I can't stretch and pull him down.
I'm not that big.
I can't do anything about that. So we'll have to, create a virus that can infect him, or like you say, it's probably going to be they'll just talk the Silver Surfer around and just go, can you just sort this out?
Just get him away from here.
This seems far more your kind of thing, Silver Space.
It's obviously the work she worked. Well, the Silver Surfer works for Galactus, and it'll just be that. Why? Why are you? If you're a good person, why are you working for Galactus? And then there'll be the redemption arc or whatever.
Oh yeah, no one's mentioned that before. Yeah, I could stand up to him. Yeah, you're right.
But it also could it could just go the opposite way. I'm like, fuck you.
Nah.
Yeah.
Like if I can beat you, then what are you going to do to him?
Yeah. I'm safer with him.
Yeah, like for my own protection or planet, safe to do or whatever. If I don't believe that you can take me out, what the fuck are you going to do against him? He gave me the ability, for goodness sake.
Yeah, and I think because a lot of people are going to have the same assumption that the antagonist for most of the film join up, take Galactus out. I think a lot of people have that assumption, and there'll be that fake out whether it's kind of Johnny's talking around and we can be together or whatever if they became romantically involved, and then just be, nah, I'm all right. Boom. But I think it would be a good, interesting fake out. But they've got to win somehow. This is our first MCU Fantastic Four family. They've got to win. And whether that's winning by retreating and just go to a different dimension away, which is like, well, fucking leave you to it. Save yourself kind of thing. Again, unlikely. But Reed's just going to have to prove he's the smartest man and science his way out of the mess, because Thing
he's got to afford those 2 blackboards.
Yeah, these are rented.
So he pays the bills by sciencing things.
I'm really fucking looking forward to it. I could honestly talk about this all night.
I kind of agree. Like, it's one of these things with infinite potential and possibilities, which is why I like these kinds of things, because it doesn't give you enough, but it gives you enough of a taste of what the tone and the feel of it should be.
Yeah.
Without sort of giving you any expectations to the final product. and it feels a lot more thought through and a lot more planned out. And it feels like they've gone, right, we'll just push a bunch of this other shit out. We'll get all of that done.
Yeah.
This is a biggie. We bought the fucking rights back and it cost us billions. This is the one that has to go well. We have to recoup some of those losses. We can't just keep, getting one of the original Avengers back and then give them a thing, and then another one that was in this thing, and then they were in a show. We'll give them a thing to do. Like, we need a new solid hitter that we can build another franchise off. Because then you'll get a Herbie fucking Disney Plus shorts TV show.
It's inevitable. It's inevitable.
Do you know what I mean? It'll be, they're looking at the merchandise and the franchising from. They got to do one.
You could call it herbs and spices.
God damn, that's not bad. Yeah,
I'd watch that. But now they've got to do it right, even if it's it ruins other films because they've gone.
As an expense. I think that with some of the things like Daredevil, I think they're going to be putting a lot of effort into. So like their mainstay, so Loki, like Cap. Like I think that I don't know. I'm not overly. I think it's going to be like, oh my god, this is going to be better than the Winter Soldier? No, not at all.
But not many Marvel films are, in my opinion.
That's very true. Even the good ones aren't necessarily as good as the best ones. But I'm sort of a bit indifferent to it. I think it's a bit saturated now, and I'm just sort of like, it's another one. Cool, Harrison Ford's, Red Hulk. That's pretty interesting. Thunderbolts, I'd be more interested for because it's something a bit new. But are they going to try and ape a lot of the successes of the Suicide Squad thing?
Yeah, 100% it is.
You know what I mean? Like you're trying to capture on other things that have worked quite well.
I'm still annoyed the team is mostly just Captain America-esque people.
Well, no, like Ghost is, that's a...
But she hasn't got any powers anymore. She lost them in Ant-Man 2. She hasn't got the powers anymore.
It was contained. Like, because they were working on controlling it or something. So it wasn't like just random.
I might have to come back to that one. But you've got, obviously, Bucky. You've got US Agent. You've
two super soldiers, yeah.
Fucking... Oh my god, David Harbour, Red Guardian.
Another one.
That's what I mean. He's another Captain America-esque character.
You've got Black Widow's sister.
Black Widow's sister. So, like, it's the same. Captain America will call them brawlers because they're all hand-to-hand people. So there's four that are all hand-to-hand combatants. You've got no Red Hulk. Who would be like originally, because Ross starts the Thunderbolts. Then again, he might show up, and we just haven't seen him yet. Maybe they were saving the reveal for Captain America.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, that's probably quite a good point. That they just say we want the big sell of a new Hulk. We want it to be, here, not in this sort of spin-off that we're not sure about yet.
Because I would have assumed, when we did talk about it before, but when we had the reveal of Abomination in She-Hulk. It made sense to put him in instead of it being Red Hulk. We'll just put the Abomination in the place, but obviously that doesn't seem to be the case. But yeah, no one on the team's different. They've all got roughly the same power set.
If you just if it was like a Suicide Squad, or they just said, right, all the villains of all the ones that are still alive, we'll get them together. We'll get like Mordo. We'll get Zemo. We'll get. US Agent. We'll get, like you say, just you go right. Who is an Avenger for and has their equivalent skill set and that isn't dead yet? Like Taskmaster. Again, I think Taskmaster's in it as well.
Taskmaster, yeah. But again, Brawler.
Yeah, exactly. You throw a meteorite at them, well, they're all dead. What are they going to do?
Fight them from the sky.
Yeah. Have you got a genius in there? Have you got any? Like, because how many Avengers were all absolute goddamn genius? Like they could write code and robots and all sorts of shit.
Most of them seemed able to do it, with the exception of Cap, I suppose. But
yeah,
I can't remember who else is in it now. But that's basically your lineup. They're all just hand-to-hand fighters. Which, if you're going to do that, just make a fucking Ninja Turtles film. I don't know. But I think I'm looking forward to that more than Brave New World, to be honest. I think the caliber of the people, I think, could work well. Like David Harbour in most things I do like. Even Hell, he was good in Hellboy, and that's a fucking dog shit film. But I don't know. I'm not super excited about it either. But
no, that unfortunately I do agree with. We got a release for Thunderbolts.
Possibly, maybe, I don't know off the top of my head. It's got to be this year though, hasn't it?
You can't have fucking Fantastic Four, Brave New World, and the Thunderbolts all in 1 year.
2025 May, 2nd of May, 2025. Which is it Brave New World out this month or next month?
February. Yeah, so
this month. So in 2 months' time, then we've got Thunderbolts.
And then in another 2 months, we've got Fantastic Four. I'm exhausted just thinking about it.
On that note, though, we're going to go because I am exhausted.
Yes.
But thank you for joining us, everyone. And if you want to see more, go to podcastfirstplayer.com. It's all going along the bottom of the screen right as we speak. Dan, thank you for joining us.
Thank you.
Thank you all for joining us. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.